Good evening. Thank you, Mrs. Teresa Yao and Mr. Paul Yao, for inviting me to this very important occasion. I'm honored and humbled to be here to launch the book, Chang Tien, the Literati Artist. Chang Tien's name is venerated in Singapore as an artist and also as an art educator. A young Singaporean might ask two questions. Who is Chang Tien? And the second question, the favorite among Singaporeans, what school did he go to? Or what school is he from? Well, first, broadly as an artist, Chang Tien is one of our most influential ink painters and exponents of, I'm told, the Xie Shanghai School in Singapore. Secondly, as a teacher, and I spoke to his student, Chen Ke-chan, who's here with us tonight, a student of his. He told me Chang Tien was stern and strict, yet possessed fatherly love and care for his students. He was a traditional Chinese man who had an open heart and taught humility. Lo Zewi, who is with us, who penned an essay for the book, says Fan's many years of teaching have provided continuity and preserved the practical technicalities and spiritual context of Chinese ink art in Singapore. So we have two fairly technical terms before us, Chinese ink art and Xie. Now, one approaches artworks by just looking at them. Sometimes, however, I find it wise to first read about them. I learned from Eugene Tan's foreword, Eugene who wrote the foreword for the book, that Fan specialized in the Xie style, which is writing ideas. And that's a beautiful concept, that the Xie style is writing out ideas. And in particular, he painted flower and birds and was renowned for painting orchids and bamboo, the symbolic motifs of the Literati's pictorial legacy. Fan's work is significant for its naturalness and freshness, achieved by brisk and rhythmic brushwork. What Fan has passed on to Singapore, and that's very relevant, and I'm very interested in the phrase, is a self-renewing aspect of traditional ink painting. That's what Eugene says. Now, that was if one read about the artist. Now, if one looks at the work which is here before us tonight, and one looks at them carefully, as a non-specialist myself, I always look for that pure personal connection of the work and its artist, that the connection between the work and the creator. And it's really not as simple as it sounds. And I find to truly know an artist and understand their works, it is good to know the critical points of their lives. Not just their journey to becoming an artist, but once they have become artists, what their continuing journey is. The critical points that may have added a new richness or perspective to their experiences, their thinking, and their aesthetic mind. And in that spirit, in learning about Chang Tien, some of the critical points in his life, and I speak purely as a non-expert, may have been one, he was born into a scholarly Teochew family in Guangdong, in Chiayi, in China. And Kwok Kian Chow, who also penned a piece, an essay for the book, had written, Chang Tien had an early start in art education, undertaking formal art education in Shantou, in the Swatao area, Shantou, a teacher training college for art, and graduated at the tender age of 17. So we're really having a prodigy in front of us. He studied in Shanghai in 1920s, and I cite Chua Ek, who was a student and also a very famous artist himself, when invited in 1998 by Kwok Kian Chow, who was director of the Singapore Art Museum, as the guest curator of Chang Tien's show, in 1998, Chua Ik-kay had written that art in China in the 1920s in Shanghai, where Fan Chang Tien went after acquiring his formal art education in Shantou, in the 1920s in Shanghai, art in China in this period was affected, we would know, by the May 4th movement of 1919, and which advocated the modernization of social and cultural conventions. So that's a critical second point in Fan Chang Tien's life. Fan Chang Tien then went back to Shantou, and he set up a painting society, and I understand a very important art school. He then, interestingly, because of the war, and because I think the art college that he was teaching in, the Chiaying Teachers Training College, had been bombed, he was tasked to go to Thailand. So that's a critical fourth stage in his life when he went to Thailand. He was asked to raise funds for the rebuilding of the Teachers Training College, but from 47 to 56, he couldn't return to China because they were having, as we know, major social upheavals. So in 1956, we were fortunate to have Fan Chang Tien land on our shores. He came in 1956. We were having our own era of social and political challenge and change. He taught at Chongqing High School and then Whampoa Secondary School. And the rest, as they say, is history. In each point in his journey, what changed and what was enriched in his artistic mind is a very fascinating issue. Can we see, as we look at his artworks, threads in whatever form that connect his artworks to those important critical points in his journey as an artist? And when we know that an artist as important as Fan Chang Tien had mentored and shared his artistic discipline and special style and methods with significant and acclaimed artists, Singapore artists, like the late Chua Ik-kay and Chen Ke-chan, and other highly respected artists who were students, who I understand included Ling Che-eng, Lim Kay-hyong, Nai Swee-ling, Tan Wei-pang, and Li Su-chi, among others, we stand before the artworks of Fan Chang Tien to truly contemplate his works. A great artist and a great teacher. We contemplate his works, we still our minds and look hard and see what we can yet learn through his eyes. And in that relationship of our standing before an artwork and thinking about the artist and trying to follow the xie of the artist, it is very helpful indeed to have in hand the book that will be launched tonight. Apart from essays and pictures of paintings, we also have, as described by Mr. and Mrs. Yao, very useful translations into English of the inscriptions on the paintings. And for those, I'm sure, who can read Chinese, not like me who can't, who greatly appreciate the translations to English, but for those who can read Chinese, I'm sure it's a great service too, because the calligraphy has been in print and very easily accessible for those who have bad eyesight. Now, indeed, for those who cannot read Chinese like me, we can now actually do what? We can actually read the painting because the inscriptions have been translated for us. I want to cite, in closing, a painting in the book, I think it's page 42, a painting, an undated painting by Fan Chang Tien of bamboo. It is titled The Rattling Bamboo, with an inscription by esteemed artist Chang Tien, and this is what he wrote. When in peace and happiness, one paints the orchid. When feeling indignant, one paints the bamboo. This bamboo plant is rattling under the wind, coming from the wrist of Chang Tien with unseen force of the brush. A close quote. May we enjoy tonight the unseen force and the seen brush of Fan Chang Tien. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we call on Teresa Yao, Paul Yao, to do the ribbon cutting? with our guest of honor.
Okay, so you have look in front, look in front. Look in front. Slide. Sir, look in front. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Ittogi.
Together.